Hello and welcome to Show Me the Money podcast that's more pivot than principal balance. I'm Claire.
And I'm Ellie, and each week we discuss how money shows up in some of our favourite pop culture, from the classic to the nostalgic to the contemporary.
Hooray. We won't tell people how many times I had to shout pivot to get that right. I still don't think it's very good. But yes, of course, today we are talking about Ross Geller. This is our Friends mini-series. So if you didn't listen to last week's for some reason, go back and listen. We kind of set everything up. We talked about Rachel and her kind of journey with like money and work through the show. She was really interesting to talk about, but there was only one person that we could move on to from Rachel, really, which is Ross. And Ross is a very divisive character on the internet.
I don't understand this.
No.
Yeah, like there are some things that I get why the internet is like all over the place and divided, but honestly, I'm just a bit confused by this.
Yeah, I think potentially some of it is coming from like the lore around Ross rather than actually watching the show. Like the Ross, he has his moments, don't get me wrong, like he really does, but he really has his good points as well. And I have been listening to, and if anyone is like listening to this and really like leaning into the nostalgia and loving it and wants to listen to another like Friends rewatch series, please, if you haven't already, go away and listen to the Friends Through a Lens series of Sentimental Garbage.
Yeah, it's very good.
It's so good. And there's a whole episode of like Friends Through the Lens of a Ross apologist with Imogen West Knight. I grew up really with that like Ross and Rachel kind of friends to lovers, like romantic, like it was one of the like
great
prevailing love stories of our time. And you know, I guess he plays kind of the straight guy in this, which is really ridiculous because he is bonkers, like really bonkers, but he can be like, especially with the other two guys, a bit of a moral compass in the same way that Phoebe, I think, acts quite often as a bit of a moral compass for like the girls and for Joey. Like I noticed on my rewatch, and we were talking last week about the 5 Steaks and an Eggplant episode. That happens to also be the episode where Chandler, someone's calling Chandler's phone with a wrong number. And she's calling for an ex-boyfriend called Bob. I think her name's Jade. And she's got like a very sexy voice. So he decides to answer and pretend to be Bob. He like sets up a date with the idea that she'll be devastated that Bob hasn't shown up and he'll be there to like wipe up her tears. It's very manipulative, like catfishing. Yeah. And Ross is there the whole way being like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, don't do this to this woman. This is not right.
It's creepy, yeah.
It's creepy and it's like really immoral. And so, yeah, I think that Ross gets like a bad rap. He's often the person trying to get people to do the right thing. He's annoying, but I think he knows he's annoying. Yeah. There's an episode where I think it's where he has moved in with the guys and maybe after Emily, and then they are finding him too annoying and he's like, oh, I'm just gonna go move out because I know I'm annoying, which makes me feel really sorry for him.
I know.
But yeah, so also I noticed in that episode, this must be a coincidence, but Chandler orders the catfish at the Cajun catfish at the restaurant.
They must have done that.
I wonder if that was an Easter egg, but I don't know if the term catfishing was around in the 90s. No idea.
I don't know. I feel like maybe it started to come around like 90s, noughties.
Yeah.
But I think from a money perspective, Ross is actually like maybe arguably the most stable throughout the series. I mean, we'll talk again about some of the others later on, but I think we always see him pretty much being quite steady. So he starts off and he's working at the Museum of Natural History as a paleontologist, which, according to the internet, you know, was like an okay paid job. Like it's not badly paid. It's stable employment. And then later on we see him become a professor at NYU. And again, there's a varying debate about that. My understanding in terms of pay is that in the US, the pay is a lot better for academics than it is here. But also you often get quite a lot of benefits for being a professor as well. So, you know, it's not just the pay. He'll probably have had like quite a lot of like insurances, etc., etc. Like, so we don't really have this kind of question mark about like financial precarity with Ross.
And when he's the professor at a certain point, he gets tenure as well, doesn't he? Which means that they can't, because normally they'd be on like a rolling contract, but because he has tenure, it means that it's difficult for him to lose his job. Like he probably gets better benefits.
Yeah.
I think that might happen in the episode where someone else loses their job, because I'm pretty sure he's like gloating about it, and then there's someone sat there like crying because they've lost their job. It's definitely not the episode where Monica loses her job, but yeah, I have a real soft spot, by the way, for like absolute nerds who end up making a lot of money from the fact that they're a big nerd. That's a trope that I can really get behind.
Yes.
And I like it when it happens in real life, apart from like tech bros.
Yeah, fair.
But yeah, no, and sort of he's one of the ones who has money in that like seminal episode of 5 Steaks and an Eggplant, and his interactions in that scene with the confrontation are quite interesting, because he kind of says like, I suppose I just don't ever think of money as an issue, and Rachel says that's because you have it. And like, isn't that little exchange just the truth?
Yeah, totally. And I think, you know, it does again highlight the difference. Like he's always been in a stable position, so we know that his family were kind of well-to-do, like, or at least middle class. So money wasn't going to be an issue growing up. And then he's followed a route where, he's always going to have a paycheck at the end of the month, which contrasts with our kind of 3 characters in that scene who are in completely like sporadic employment. And it is interesting because I do kind of resonate with it a little bit now, having been self-employed. And yes, it's very different, but there is such a difference, I think, in how you feel about money when you have that regular paycheck coming in versus self-employment, where, you can have a good month, but you can also have like a terrible month. And you never really feel that sense of security that you get with that regular paycheck, even though, you know, you could lose your job. But it's still almost like a comfort blanket, which is what we see here. He's never really had to worry about it or think about it and say no to an invitation because money might be an issue, whereas the others have obviously had that hanging over them.
Yeah, and he's done like other things. Like he's quite kind of grown up in terms of like his job and his salary. He and Chandler are like, I think 2 years older than the rest of everybody. But he also has like been married by the first season, and like Carol is pregnant in season 1. And then we see he has like a child. So he's sort of, what is he? I guess he must be like 27, 28 in those early seasons. And, you know, which would seem young to have been married and have a child now, but not really back then. And so he has almost like, I don't know, it feels like he's become like a real grown-up on purpose, and he's often like the grown-up of the group. And he's like a bit of a killjoy and stuff like that. But yeah, he does just seem to have this real financial security. But I think in actual fact, like in real life, surely his finances would have been rocked by the fact that he gets divorced 3 times.
Yeah, I think we should probably dive into the divorces a little bit, because that is one thing that they don't really like obviously go into the impact of that, but the reality of being divorced 3 times and having 2 children is going to be quite hefty.
Yeah, and I mean, it's really played for laughs, isn't it? Like that becomes his thing. Like he's the divorce guy, and there's a moment when Mike, in the later seasons, when Mike tells Phoebe that he doesn't want to get married, and she goes to his house and is like, "What do you think of marriage?" And he's like, "So now you're coming to my house to make divorce jokes." But you know, I think one of the things that I like really occurred to me when we were researching for this was that it's not just that he's had 3 divorces. He's had 3 divorces in a really short space of time.
Yeah.
Like within kind of, I can't remember when the Vegas episodes are. I think they might be the end of season 7. So it's still like 3 divorces in 7 years.
Yeah. Like even if we're generous, it's like maybe 10 years.
Yeah.
Like,
but I suppose a lot of it depends on the specifics. So you would think that maybe with Carol, given that she's left him for Susan, that I don't know how that impacts things in the States, because even if you don't have a child, you quite often end up paying alimony, don't like spousal support in the States.
I think it really does depend, on the setup and how long you've been married for as well.
Yeah. So Emily and Rachel, probably no problem.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't think that Rachel, I mean, she just wanted the fucking divorce that he didn't told her he'd done. That's bad.
I know. But I think that is the thing. I think a lot of the time, the fact that like it's straightforward versus like a complicated divorce is going to really impact the finances, because I know at least here a straightforward, if you both agree, you both kind of can do the division of assets relatively straightforward, then it won't be a fortune. It's like once you start getting into arguing about it and getting lawyers involved that you're starting to rack up the cost. Although, I mean, the fact that average cost of the divorce, the fact an average cost of divorce in the UK is just under £15,000. Like that is
just
not
for legal fees.
Yeah, that is like not small change, and that's
Mm.
before, again, like you say, you get into the nitty gritty. But I mean, yeah, with the first divorce with Carol, then who knows? I guess we don't really know what assets they had.
No, we don't know very much about his life with Carol, apart from obviously all of the things that are played up for laughs about her leaving him for a woman. Rewatching that, Susan is so horrible to him for someone who's stolen his wife.
Yeah.
Like I love Susan. I think she's a great character. I love that actress. I can't remember her name, but she's so like quick. She delivers her lines, like she's so cutting.
Yeah.
But she's so mean to him. And the fact that like they want his child to have Susan's surname.
I know.
Which like
in what world?
But also just working on pregnancy timelines here, like it can't have been more than 3 months since the last time that Ross and Carol have slept together. So like, you know,
many questions.
Sitcom timelines. But so with Carol, we just like don't really know that much about it. You would assume that he's like paying some like maintenance costs towards Ben, at least, because he doesn't, you know, I mean, it's like a special occasion if Ben's in an episode, isn't it? Most of the time. And with Emma, they kind of it was easier for them to just be like, like Emma's at my parents' house.
I like to think that like he was quite a present dad, but just that like we didn't see it.
Oh, 100%. And like, you know, it's like loads of things. We don't see them like just at a day at work. We don't see them go to the toilet. We don't like, you know, that could, and it obviously has like a really warm relationship with Ben. We do see quite a lot of like baby Ben. There's the storyline where like Chandler and Joey lose him. And they need to know if it's ducks or clowns that he had on his baby grow. And there's all of the stuff about like Monica Bang when she bangs his head. Yeah. And all of that stuff. But I think as he gets older, we just see a bit less of him. There's obviously the Holiday Armadillo episode, which is excellent. And he's played by those twins, Cole and Dylan Sprouse, when he's older.
Really?
Sweet Life of Zack and Cody.
Yeah, I forgot about them.
Yeah. They're still knocking about on the internet.
Oh my God.
But certainly to begin with, he's just seeing him for one day at the weekend, because there is a bit of like a back and forth about that. So he's probably like paying some towards that.
Yeah.
You would think that him and Rachel would sort that out amicably. By the time that Emma comes along, they're probably on quite an even footing career-wise as well. Yeah,
and then I guess with Emily, like it was probably, I would guess, quite straightforward divorce. Although she's British, I'm not sure.
International stuff going on.
Yeah.
And her parents hate him.
True.
So they'd be like, take him for everything you can.
That is true. They might have tried to encourage her to go after it. But then equally, like if they just wanted it to be done, then maybe it was like a quick, like draw a line under it.
Yeah. Oh, poor Emily. She got done dirty. She was so reasonable to start with and sweet. And then they just turned her into this jealous monster.
Yeah.
Love Helen Baxendale. Also, one of the few actresses who can do a convincing Midlands accent. She's in Cuckoo with Greg Davis and is like really good in that.
That is quite rare. But I think what's also like interesting to factor into the divorce conversation is not only the cost, but the time, because the time for a divorce is not speedy. Like divorces take quite a long time. And like, how did he manage to pack in 3 in that time frame as well?
Again, sitcom timelines. Aside from Ross's like broader kind of financial life, there is some specific money stuff that we need to talk about with Ross, which is like this thing of like being thrifty versus being a cheapskate, because this becomes like part of Ross's personality, is that he won't pay for things.
Yeah.
So like in those initial seasons, I think we don't see it as much, but they obviously thought it would be something like fun to put in there as a character trait. We have the just iconic couch scene where he refuses to pay for delivery. I know people like that who would refuse to pay for delivery
and then be like, oh shit.
Absolutely. And like try and get it in through a window or whatever. But just when he takes it back to the shop and it's cut in half.
So
the woman's like, this couch is cut in half. And he's like, this couch is cut in half. And he gets store credit to the value of $4.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are other times like he won't like tip the pizza delivery guy.
Yeah, which is like a sin in like New York.
Yeah. He always waits right until the last minute to check out of a hotel, which honestly, I think that's fine. Fair behaviour.
I do that, but not because of any other reason other than I'm not normally like ready.
I'm just not organised enough. I'm not trying to get like my full money's worth.
Yeah, but on the hotel point, like I do think this is a good question, because we see like Ross loves like the freebies and all of the toiletries. Like he wants to get as many of them as possible because he thinks like you've paid for them.
Yeah.
What is your take on this?
I think if they're nice ones, like sometimes I'm just like, why would I want to take this out? Like I don't need more like tiny bottles of crap in my house. Like, I've got 3 children who just all they love is like tiny pieces of crap that just get like thrown everywhere. But if it's nice stuff, like I've stayed in a couple of places that have had like nice stuff, and I kind of think they expect you to take them, like especially if you just haven't had chance to use the whole thing while you're there. They're only going to throw it away. So I wouldn't go and like ask for more. I wouldn't go and like ask for more to take home. I think that's like drawing the line. But I mean, there's the thing where Chandler gets 2 on board and takes the salt and pepper shakers. And they have to like, I wouldn't do the like batteries out of the remote.
No, that's like really pushing it.
But I think I've told you this before. My husband loves a freebie. Like he is obsessed with a freebie to the point where like he like even if it's just not something, he's brought home all kinds of shite before because it was free. He does listen to this podcast as well, so but he knows this about himself. But yeah, like any samples of anything that he gets through work, he'll be like, oh, look at this I've got.
So do you just have a house full of like random mugs?
We've got a lot of random mugs. You know, anytime, because we've had quite a few things where we've had like a goodie bag where it's got like socks in. Oh, he's always wearing like a branded pair of socks that I've brought home. He loves it.
I love that. I am literally like the opposite. Like I get home with them and I'm like, I can't deal with the clutter. Like, what am I going to do with another branded mug? Like, I just can't. Like, it stresses me out having that much like clutter. So I am not the freebie girl.
Oh, 100. But sometimes I make him take them to work if he wants to keep them. So he's currently got a Kiss My Isa water bottle at work. But I got an ocean bowl from an event the other day. Oh, very good.
But is it branded?
It is branded, but it's fine. I don't mind. In Ross, I find it quite endearing. In real life, like obviously my husband loves the freebie and I love him and I find it cute. But some of this like ultra frugal, like being a proper cheapskate, I just don't like. Because I think often what actually ends up happening is instead of being like, ha ha ha, I've tricked the like shop or the restaurant or whatever out of charging me extra, what's actually happening is that like other people are ending up picking up your slack and you're getting away with being cheap and it's costing other people more money.
Totally. And I think there's been a little bit of a like blurred line again between like thrifty and like being like a cheapskate as well. Like in some corners of the internet, I think that there's definitely like crossed the line into being too, like pushing it too far. And I agree with you. I think often it just means that the impact is on someone else.
Yeah.
And I just don't know if it's like, I don't see how it can foster like a positive relationship with money, a positive like money mindset, because ultimately it's just this like extreme like scarcity. It's like there's so little that you're trying to extract absolutely everything out of what there is. And I just don't believe that that's like a good mindset to live in.
Yeah, and I think some of it's really performative, especially on like TikTok, where people are like under consumption core, I think is an example of like something that started off good that now just makes me like
it's just like a trend
off under my breath every time I see it. There are a couple of people who are amazing with this stuff. So like Nancy Birtwistle with all of her like kind of cleaning solutions. She was a Bake Off contestant. Now she does quite a lot of like green kind of eco stuff. She's amazing. Anna Kirkpatrick, she's not needing new on Instagram. She's brilliant, like really practices what she preaches, really like leans into the joy of it all. Whereas some of it that I see, it's like, I just drink out of this old Nutella jar because I don't think you should have to buy a glass, or like, you know, like I don't buy toilet paper, which like, don't tell me that. I don't want to know. So yeah, I think there is like,
there's a line.
Yeah, there's a line. And obviously the line's like different for everybody. But I do think some of it is like fetishizing it a bit. And I actually find it a bit gross to like play act at.
Well, this is the thing, because I think that's the other part of the conversation, is that for some people, like these choices are not choices. Like they are an essential. Like they cannot afford to choose to be cheapskates or to choose to be extra frugal because they do not have the means. So it's when people that have got the choice are choosing to kind of make content out of it and to make it into like a personality trait.
Yeah, it's very icky to me.
Yeah.
You know, but like on the flip side of it, I do think that we need to be challenging our levels of consumption. But I think it's more about like pointing out how weird it is for people to be consuming the amount that they're consuming. So like there's a couple of really stylish people that I follow, and like for sort of fashion, not that you can tell, but they're like just constantly buying new clothes. Like every reel is like 5 new items of clothes, and they are posting like that type of content 3 times a week, which like it doesn't maybe seem that much when you're just watching the videos, but if you added it all up, that's like
huge amounts.
Hundreds and hundreds of new items of clothing a month.
Yeah.
Like I think we need to be pointing that out more rather than like competing in this race to the bottom for who can have the most like frugal lifestyle. Because I think that most people are like, I think the problem is people normalizing the high levels of consumption rather than us trying to like, not like that consuming as little as possible is a problem, but just like, I don't know, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think at the start of the year there was a real kind of spike in this like underconsumption stuff and trying to like encourage people to like just consume less, but a lot of the comments around it were like, well, no, this is not underconsumption. This is just normal. Like most people are not out there like buying 50 pieces of clothes a week. So like, why are we making like underconsumption into something that is just like actually just normal behavior?
Underconsumption core, and it's like, I've only got 5 pairs of shoes. Like, welcome to fucking normal life.
Literally. So like maybe it's just about going back to that normality rather than trying to brand everything as well. Like, it's like everything's trying to have a label and name and be a trend. But I guess that's part of the cycle of like content constantly needing to be produced.
And people having to be like an archetype instead of just like a normal
person.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I mean, Ross is like cheapness, I guess, again, it's like really played up for laughs.
Yeah.
And they are some quite funny moments as well. But overall, like, we actually do see him be really generous to his friends. So I think, like, hopefully Ross's brand of being a cheapskate isn't at the expense of other people. So when we see, and we'll talk about it in a future episode, but when we see Monica not able to ask her parents for money, he immediately writes her a check, and it does have a dinosaur on it. He's like, you get your money, you learn something. But yeah, we do see, like, he's never cheap towards his friends, which
is the main thing, really.
But yeah, I think that's all we've got time for.
Love
talking about Ross.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for listening. We hope you're enjoying our Friends mini-series as much as we're enjoying recording it for you. Please do follow us at Show Me the Money Official. Make sure that you leave us a review, a rating, and also follow our Substack, which comes out every Sunday. And we will be diving a little bit more into some of the themes and topics that we talk about here. And we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.